Well, this is a video I didn't think I'd be making. Conor McGregor at 170 pounds. What's my thoughts on that? If you watch my videos, you already know my thoughts on that. Hold on, I can get some coffee going here. I'm just waking up. I'm on my second cup though, so I've already had a cup. I am waking up. Yeah, there's talk of Conor fighting at 170 pounds. I don't think he'll ever fight at 170. I think he's just trying to stir people up. Basically, like the people at 155, they probably didn't dislike Conor McGregor until he started talking about him and saying he could beat him, and then he got everybody all stirred up, which is more publicity, which is more, just more notoriety, I guess. I mean, they say no publicity is bad publicity. That is not always necessarily true. Ronda Rousey is the perfect example of that. Plenty of publicity, but she was just, her personality was just horrible. And really nobody could stand her, and she lost, and good riddance. She's, hopefully won't ever have to see her ever again. Conor McGregor fighting at 170, I mean, he's like setting himself up for failure is all he's doing. And it's like, I'm a Conor McGregor fan, so don't take this the wrong way, but he's very arrogant, but he pulls it off. But he pulls it off just very, very slightly. Very, very slightly. And I see a lot of people are copying Conor McGregor now. And we are talking about him at 170 pounds because this is his mouth talking. He's not actually fighting at 170. He's not even fought a fight at 155 yet. He's getting ready to fight at 155, and he might be getting ready to lose at 155. We'll have to wait and see. But I seen Tony Ferguson, an interview with him with Ariel Helwani, and he had his sunglasses on, and he was trying to dress like he was all pimping, and he was like trying to do the whole Conor McGregor thing. At least it looked like that to me. All full of himself. He's like, oh, my fast twitch fibers, I can see everything coming, and I'm on a win streak. And Conor McGregor, he talks like that, but he pulls it off. I don't know exactly how, because when I seen this interview with Tony Ferguson, I was like, man, what a jerk. I can't stand this guy. I don't even like the guy anymore after the interview, because he just really seemed full of himself, and he just wasn't pulling it off. I mean, guys, the way Conor McGregor acts, that's a very difficult thing to pull off. I mean, it's not just about being able to back it up. Like, for some reason, I mean, there is reasons why he pulls it off. It's because he'll follow it up and he'll be humble in a way. And I think people do recognize that it is a little bit of a show. But also, it's not just a show. I mean, he really, like he says, he's on another level. Well, maybe he is on another level. I mean, at least his performances so far shows that he's on another level. Like, even look at Dos Anjos. Like, I won't be surprised if Conor McGregor beats Dos Anjos. I think it's a bad idea for him to fight Dos Anjos. Now, we're talking about Conor at 170. I mean, to talk about that, we need to first talk about 155, which I have talked about. But man, it's like, I could see him beating Dos Anjos, but I will say, if he beats Dos Anjos, I mean, that's going to be a really an amazing feat. I mean, it really is. I mean, because what Dos Anjos does is amazing. This is where it gets kind of tricky. I could picture Conor McGregor beating Dos Anjos, knocking him out. I can't really picture Dos Anjos beating Conor, although I kind of feel like Dos Anjos is going to beat him. I can't picture it. I'm trying to picture it, but we haven't seen Conor lose, so it's hard to picture that. It really is. And, especially like Dos Anjos, he's older. These guys, when they approach 30 years old, even though Dos Anjos has looked great, being a little older, I don't necessarily think that they're better. I think it's just they happen to be at the right place their opponents are at a certain level. I don't necessarily think they're better fighters. Like, I don't think Conor McGregor at 31 years old, he's only 27. When he gets older, 30, 31, he won't be better than he is right now. It's just unless you're taking steroids, you're not going to be better. It's a simple fact. You start to slow down. Your body can't recover as fast. When you're training, you can't train as hard. Your testosterone is lower. Your fight IQ does go up, but guys, in fighting, fight IQ is important, but you need to be physically fit. You need to be fast. I mean, I ultimately, I think that's kind of what caught up with Anderson Silva. He was just always one step ahead of everybody. He was just a little bit quicker. You know, just a little, you're talking fractions, you know, of a second. You know, able to get out of the way of punches, and he just couldn't get out of the way of punches, and he got knocked out. Not to mention your head getting too big and being overly cocky, which is, I think, is going to happen to Conor McGregor. Basically, I don't think he should fight at 170. That's what this video is about. I don't think he should even fight at 155. I think he should stay at 145, defend the belt at 145. When you get to around age 30, go ahead and retire. That's what I thought Conor should do. But he's not going to do that. He's going to do like a lot of other people have done, and they just want to see how far they can go and how much they can get away with. And I think it's a bad idea. Conor McGregor is, with this mentality, he is going to lose. You know, not because, you know, they say everybody meets their match. Every dog has its day. That is true. But basically what's going to happen with him is age is going to catch up with him. He'll come into a fight, you know, like he fought Chad Mendes. He said he was, you know, was dealing with some injuries, some nagging injuries and things. And that's what's going to happen. He'll come into a fight. Maybe he wasn't able to train at the level he wanted to. Not to mention, going from 170 to 155 to have to fight at 145. It's one thing to fight at 145 and cut that weight, but now you're going up in weight. You mean you got to drop even more weight. I mean, it's going to take a toll on your body. I mean, so him at 170 doesn't really make any sense. Not if you're going to fight at 145. Not to mention the guys that fight at 170. These guys are huge, man. They walk around at like 200 plus pounds. I weigh about 182. I mean, I'm muscular. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I mean, I'm pretty solid and muscular, and I work out a lot. I'm very active. I'm 6'1" and about, you know, 182, 183 pounds. I cannot imagine. I mean, if I had to get down to 170, I could do it. But like, there's the thought of 155, and that's what these guys do. Guys that are 155, most of them aren't 6'1". But like, man, that's just like so much weight to cut. Like, even for me to have to like drop 13 pounds, which I could do, I would feel really lousy. Especially, of course, I'm 38 years old, but you know, you got to think about that a little bit. You guys, if you've never actually cut weight or had to lose weight like that, you know, you just losing 5 pounds, man. If you're fit, you don't feel good because your body needs fuel, and if you're training, you need to eat that food. You need to eat that food, and you need to eat those calories. And man, when you can't have those calories come in, it takes a toll on your body, and you'll end up with things like tendonitis, and you'll get injuries, and not to mention mental fatigue. You'll get mentally fatigued, and you know, you're maybe feeling groggy. You're not feeling good. Of course, if he's on a 170, he'll be eating a lot of food. He'll probably feel great, where some of these other guys won't feel great. But that's just, for him to go at 170, man, he's going to get worked. He'll get wrestled to death. Somebody will come in and just wrestle Conor to death. You know, I don't know who it would be that's going to do that. But I mean, just think about like if Conor fought GSP in his prime. I mean, he's not going to knock him out. And he's gonna get taken down, man. GSP takes down everybody. It looks like it's pretty easy to take Conor down too, if you have the gas tank to fight that style of fight, which we all know like GSP does. GSP's retired. He's older now, but I mean, I'm just using him as an example. Conor would lose. He would get wrestled to death. He might not get officially beat. Someone might not take him to school, but he'll lose on the scorecards. And his hard punching power, I mean, he doesn't. There's no way he punches harder than guys that are fighting at 170. He punched hard at 145. He's probably going to punch hard at 155. But as he goes up, you get to 170, and basically that hard punching power. I mean, he might hit these guys, and instead of knocking them out, they just take it, and then guess what? They come back and take you down. And the guys are bigger guys. They're big guys. I mean, they're used to getting punched, and they're used to getting hit hard. And I think that's one of Conor's qualities, is that he hits so hard. So is it going to work at 155? We'll have to see. I'm curious, like anybody else, to see what is going to happen. But basically, he's trying to lose, basically. I thought it was a bad idea to fight Dos Anjos. I mean, can he beat him? You know, maybe he can, and he probably is going to beat Dos Anjos just because of Conor's track record. But I have to say that is going to be a feat. You know, it's one thing to come and beat Aldo. He knew he could beat Aldo. Aldo's a small guy, and he doesn't have strong wrestling, so Conor can go in there and do whatever he wants. You don't have to worry about being taken down. And the thing with Aldo too, like I said this before, I can't believe the way to beat Conor is to knock him out, wrestle him to death. Two things which Jose Aldo, he can't. First of all, he can't wrestle Conor to death. Can he knock him out? Yeah, but not with his fists. Really, I mean, I'm just amazed that he did not try and beat up his legs. I talked about this before. It's just really bizarre. So, anyway, Conor McGregor fighting at 170, it's a bad idea. I think Conor McGregor is basically just setting himself up for loss. I think he should have stayed down at 145 and fought and, got paychecks for another 3 years and retired. And maybe he'll do that. Maybe if he beats Dos Anjos, maybe he'll take another fight or two and then retire. And really, I think that's what he should do. I don't think he should keep pushing his luck, basically, to come up to 170 and, you're just pushing your luck, and it's just a matter of time. It is a matter of time, regardless if he stays at 145, 155, regardless. It's a matter of time before he will lose, because age will catch up with you. He's only 27. But like I said, once you get to age 30, I think age 30 is the cutoff point. We see guys that are champions, like Robbie Lawler, for example. Some of these guys are in their 30s. But I do personally believe, I don't think they're better. I just think that they happen to be at the right place at the right time. And I don't think they're necessarily better fighters. I mean, it's impossible. You cannot be in your 30s, approaching middle age, and expect to be better at something, at least something physical, than you could when you're younger. Now, this is an IQ sport. It does take a certain amount of IQ, but that's why we don't see guys 18 years old, 19 years old just dominating, which you think they would because they're more physically fit. But we do see them as they get to around 25, 26, they have 5, 6, 7 years experience. They kind of come into their own, and they have a combination of two. They still have youth, but now they have experience, and they're perfect. And I think that is around like Conor McGregor's age, 20, 26, 27, 28. That's when Nick Diaz was destroying everybody in Strikeforce. I think he could have come in the UFC and he could have whooped GSP. Of course, GSP was in his prime too then as well. But he could have came in the UFC and he could have worked pretty much all them guys too. He was just in his prime. He was 27, 28 years old when he was just on that tear in Strikeforce. And that's where Conor McGregor is sitting right now. He's in that perfect. He's He's in his prime. Conor McGregor is in his prime, and I'm getting a little more thought. Maybe he will beat Dos Anjos. He is in his prime. I don't think Dos Anjos is in his prime. He's just kind of come into his own, and just everything has just gone his way. But for him fighting at 170, guys, it's a bad idea. Could he do it? Could he? If he wins one fight at 155 and then fights for the belt at 170, would they let him do that? Heck, man, maybe he could pull it off. He only has to win 2 more fights. If he does do that, he should probably just retire. Because the thought of having to defend all 3 belts, if you could even do that, is just, that's just, maybe if he had a year, to drop the weight back down. But even then, guys, so much time would pass and everything else. That just don't seem like a good idea. I don't even think if he wins at 155, do we think we'll see him at 145 again? I would not be surprised if we never see Conor at 145 again, if he wins at 155. He's already talking about gaining more weight. So just the thought of, unless literally he's drinking gallons of water just to, because 1 gallon of water is 7 pounds. If he literally drinks a gallon of water and gets up on there and weighs in at 170, maybe. But even then, you're going to go in a smaller guy and I think that's a bad idea, and I'll see you guys later.